We're pleased at this time to be joined by the head football coach of the Wasps of Emory and Henry, Curt Newsome. Coach, thanks for stopping by. Another great turnout for you all here in this camp here in Hampton Roads, and you got to be excited for football right around the corner here in 2023.
There's no question. We do have a great turnout. You know, there's only 4 Division II schools in the state: Virginia State, Virginia Union, UVA Wise. Last year we signed 36 kids from Virginia.
Wow.
And, you know, it's the 2 places I've been, JMU and Virginia Tech. Virginia kids came first, and they still do here.
That's a remarkable count, 36, because I'd venture to say, I haven't looked at Virginia State and Virginia Union and UVA Wise's board. It's not nearly as many, and I think that goes back to sort of that old school mentality you have of when you were at JMU and Virginia Tech. Protect your home turf in the Commonwealth, right?
No question. You know, Coach Beamer said it best. You know, if you're getting in-state kids, their parents are going to be around.
Right.
And if their parents are around, they're going to behave a little better and they're going to work a little harder. And I think that makes sense. And, you know, this is my home. I went to school here. I've recruited here and I coached here, of course, and then I recruited here the whole time. So, you know, this place is special to me.
And it's so close enough for the parents to come to the games. And even though it is about a 7-hour hike from Tidewater to Emory out there, you've been able to mine all different parts of the state, Coach, be it Northern Virginia, Richmond, and right in that neck of the woods there in Southwest Virginia. You've got some good sleepers in this latest class.
No question. And it's these combines have been a big help. Actually, we signed 27 guys from these combines that we had last year.
Tell me about last season. You got to a 4-2 start, making that transition from Division III ball to Division II. But you're playing some competitive squads, and we see it all the time, whether it be in college football on a given Saturday in Division I, and you used to coach there at that level with Virginia Tech and James Madison. Upsets happen. We watch it in March Madness with the college basketball tournaments. A lot of the big boys, I mean, okay, you don't have as many of those guys, the quantity and always the quality, but you have some good football players that are all state, all region level kids on your roster.
Oh, there's no question about it. The football in this league is so much better than people realize. We were fortunate last year in that we had a lot of Division III kids that were older kids, and we just kind of ran out of depth. We got off to a great start, and then we lost to Newberry in double overtime, who won the conference championship, and then we beat Wingate, who came to the Final 8 in Division II, and had a big win over Virginia Union. So, you know, we know what it takes in this league, and we've got to get better up front on both sides of the ball. That's probably the biggest difference that I noticed.
Yeah, the line play. I know you lost a good chunk of your defensive front. A couple of kids that were out of state. One from Florida, I believe, was a big-time stud for you, right?
Yes, he was. Jay Swagmeyer, and he was a really good player. So we've got some holes to fill up front, but I like the guys that we're bringing in for this year.
Things are so different now with social media and NIL, the transfer portal, but I know football is still football. You're watching film, you're evaluating. When Curt Newsome walks into a given high school, what are the things you're looking for out of a prospect, be it the character, the grades? What are the things that you separate this player A from player B?
Well, I mean, his attitude, you know, you can, you can't get a scholarship because you smile. But it's a lot easier to talk to one that's smiling.
You remember it more, right?
No question about it. And so that's important. Their character, you know, we don't. The coaches, all I want to know from a high school coach is what kind of kid he is. You know, we can watch film and do our evaluations, but just tell if he's a good kid. You know, he's at the front of the bus.
So it's almost like when you go to a restaurant, you sit down, you see something on the menu that looks good, but until you've tried it, you've learned all about it, and you've tasted it. All right, now I know I want it, or I like it.
No question about it. That's kind of the way recruiting works.
Now it also works the other way around. When a prospect comes to Emory, whether they're from the 757, the 804 Northern Virginia, or in your backyard there in Southwest, or perhaps outside the Commonwealth, what would you say distinguishes your program from others, be it the Division II level or other schools they may be considering?
I would like to think we have a coaching staff that cares about players. And, you know, I've been in this business long enough to know a coach's job is to get you to play harder than you think you can. And you better care about them to get that done. So I think our family atmosphere, knowing that we've got small classrooms, we've got great alumni. We were 3rd or 2nd in the league in attendance the first year out. You know, people care about football, and you're going to be treated right.
This is year what coming up for you at Emory?
9.
9. What's different from, besides the obvious of going from Division 3 to Division 2, from year 1 to year 9 now with you there in your program?
Well, the biggest difference is walking in a building and not telling them they've got to spend $35,000 to come to school here. That's the biggest deal, and it's opened up recruiting areas. We just couldn't, when the ODAC, we couldn't come here and get football players.
Yeah.
And now we can. We're going to be fully allotted scholarship-wise. Our administration is really working to help us. So we've got support there. So really enjoying the transition.
And when you have the double the output, when you go to a camp like this one here in Tidewater compared to a year ago, the one in Norfolk, that's got to get you re-energized about, wow, we're pointing upwards, and there's a lot of buzz about your program, no pun intended, with the Wasps.
Yeah. Well, Quentin Hunter's done a great job. He was our offensive coordinator, and he left to go to UVA-Wise, and he came back home where he belonged, and he's done a super job in organizing this, and it's so enjoyable for me to come home and see all the coaches I know and that type of thing, because this is home.
Yeah, it is. Whether you're going to a Tides baseball game or you're just going to spend a Friday night, you go to a racetrack, you go to a high school game. There's so much here around 757 that I know you love. And lastly, what can the fans out there expect out of your program this coming year? I know you mentioned you got to replace some guys up front defensively. I believe Grayson Overstreet's gone offensively. He was a great player. What's it looking like for your group offensively, defensively?
I thought we transitioned well in the spring. We're really big on the offensive line. I think we're going to be able to compete even better next year there. And we've got some guys we've got a couple transfers that I think, one offensive lineman from the University of Maryland, and a defensive lineman that was a 3-year starter at Wagner, which is 1AA. So we've kind of patched some holes with some transfers like everybody else in America, and that hurts these guys. But that's part of it.
Well, I lied. I got one more for you because I could talk with you all day. But as being a former high school coach and now a college coach, head coach, assistant coach, those things, with the portal and NIL and different things, and where you all sit, has it affected your level as far as you've got to watch the portal and everything with it constantly that the guys at the big boy level does? And what's kind of your view of it being a guy that used to be a high school coach and how some of these coaches now deal with it?
Yeah, we are on it every day, and we are attacking specific needs with the portal, but it's rough on a high school coach and a high school player, because there's guys now that would get recruited, but because of the portal, they're going to take an older guy that's played college snaps, and that thing of growing your own and that is not as big a part as it used to be. The developmental stage is a little less than it used to be.
Well, it's always a pleasure to see you, and I know football's around the corner when I see you here in May at these camps. Thank you so much, and all the best.
Great to see you, and I appreciate everything you've done for this area in your coverage and the way you do it with a passion.